Ready? 3, 2, 1.
We are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy.
Dummy. Conspiracy dummy.
D-U-M-M-Y, period.
Hey, welcome to Conspiracy Dummy, the conspiracy podcast where our vision for 2020 is not so clear. I am your host, Double D, and today joining me in the Conspiracy Dummy headquarters is my friend, the man of mystery himself, the good, the bad, the ugly, the man with the umbrella, Mr. Williams.
Hey, what's up, fuckers? Mr. Williams here. How's everything going? Ready to get this started? Talk about some kooky conspiracies.
Awesome, my friend. And here also in the lab, on the ones and twos, the man, the myth, the legend. He can break dance on water, turn water into wine coolers for the ladies. And for the blind, he'll give you the vision of what we're trying to do here at Conspiracy Dummy. And that's to wake you the fuck up. My homie, and soon to be yours, the producer of Conspiracy Dummy, JC. What's up, homie?
Hey, guys. What's up?
Yeah. So this will be our first episode, and the title of it will be 2020 Be That Year. So let's get on it.
2020.
2020. Well, what is it? Maybe in February, beginning of March, the virus, the main thing.
Well,
What's going on, still going on right now?
Well, January is, I think was it January or February when it came out?
It was like around January. Well, no, okay,
Well,
so
I first heard like late February, like beginning of March probably.
March is like, I remember my birthday, it was in March, and the day that like the places shut down, like everybody was like under like the shelter at home.
Yeah.
Was like in March.
But
like, so it had already
So it
been
must have been-
spreading in like in the news, like probably for like at least a couple months before that. So
Right.
like at the beginning of 2020, at the end of like, so yeah.
I think the shelter in place didn't start until, like you said, March. And then before that, it came, but there wasn't very many cases. And then it started escalating from there. And then all you heard was shelter in place. And then they were going to stop this. Everybody had to wear masks.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's-
like it kind of sucked because here it is, like the day of my birthday, and I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
cool,
I
like,
remember.
and they're like, oh yeah, all right, yeah, all bars and restaurants are already ordered to like close. So I was like,
I remember that.
and
day,
already
too.
people were like, nah, they were already kind of like,
We did go out.
no.
Well, I did.
You did.
Yeah, like I think the day before they announced that we couldn't.
Yeah,
go.
yeah. Okay, so that was the day. It was the night of.
I got
like,
a taste of it before.
So that's
We-
what I was like. Yeah, I had to piggyback on like a couple of my friends. Like, one of them was like on a date, and I was like, "All right, yeah, I'm gonna go meet up with you." And then like my other friend was like, "We're supposed to kick it," and he had like some friends over and stuff, and I was like, "Yeah." So, but
Yeah, man. And what can you do now? We're still stuck. Like, not much to do. Which I'm gonna ask. COVID-19, conspiracy or not? What do you think? What's up with that? Is it made in the lab? Was it like naturally made in the wet markets in Wuhan, whatever? I don't know. What do you guys think, Mr. Williams? What's your thoughts, my friend?
Oh my gosh, don't even get me started on that. So I think it's fair to say that obviously COVID-19 definitely came from some sort of, I don't know if it was a lab or like, I don't really believe it came from a wet market because this disease has too many, he said it has too much stuff on it when they studied it to say that it was partially man-made and partially artificial, or sorry, partially organic. So there was like little things that made it, older people more susceptible, which showed like it had been modified at some point in time. So I think they took like a certain type of virus, like a part of the coronavirus, and they injected something in it that made it, more susceptible to like older people, because that's all you're hearing about is people who are dying are fucking old people.
And just people with
people that are at risk for like respiratory or problems, and those with diabetes and stuff like that. Like they're the ones that are like high blood pressure.
Remember when it hit Italy and they were talking about they had thousands of death counts of people dying. What was it, a week or something? And a lot of it was old people. It was. People 60 plus.
Well, Italy has
But Italy, I think a lot of people smoke, which respiratory issues.
Yeah, and then they kiss each other in the cheek, all Godfather.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like a lot of it spread.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But COVID-19.
I wonder if it really is like that. Because, not to, like, break, train, but, like, I wonder if, like, over here they're thinking, like, we just, like, high-five everybody. And over here, we think that they kiss everybody kisses on the face.
Yeah.
I wonder.
But that's probably a way how it got spread like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
It's an easy way for it to get spread like that.
What's his name? Not doctor, Mr. Brett Weinstein.
Uh-huh.
I think he was a professor. I forgot what college, biologist. Said due to its complexity that it has the traits of a virus that is made in a lab. Because it's so easily spread within confined spaces, like in a building, it dies instantly in light or UV rays. Not the heat so much, but just light.
Right.
Supposedly will kill the virus instantly. And that is something that Mr. Weinstein, I believe that's his name, said on the JRE.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
Man, when you learn about, or when you're like first reading about it, or you're like watching like a news report about it or a video online, like they talk about how it's mutated from like animal one species, obviously all that stuff. I don't know if it's that far-fetched to think that like the conditions were just so fucking like nasty that like, yeah, this shit fucking like got into some people's fucking in their shit and they spread it.
They've been eating like that for years, for centuries, bro. They've been eating like that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a boiling point,
this
bro.
This would be happening every fucking year.
Nah, well, like, who's to say, like, obviously the Chinese government doesn't release everything to us and shit.
That's true. And there's all those rumors.
We don't fucking know.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
there is a lab within Wuhan.
Well, that's what happened.
Labs.
Supposedly, the wet market and the research lab are coincidentally more than a half a block, like close to each other. So that's the weird part, right there.
Oh shit! I did not know that part.
They're
man.
I didn't know that shit.
Somebody stole some bats out of the lab, sold them at the markets.
Some stole, for real.
No,
they were hungry. They were really hungry.
So this is my best theory: is that at some point in time they had these bats and shit, and they were tested on somebody. Somehow they took these bats or something from the research, because they're testing on animals, and they injected this virus into it, and somehow somebody took those animals out and they made their way onto that wet market, right? And so they were sold to somebody. So technically, quote unquote, yes, it was animal to human, but that animal was injected with the virus that somehow got out because somebody sold it. Because if you're working at the black market in China, I can't imagine you're making that much money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can only imagine they would say, hey, if you want some fucking bad soup, 7 yen, they'll fucking throw it your way. Fuck it.
Man, that shit's all fucked up.
Man, you gotta eat what you can, bro. And especially over there, just like billions and billions of them, bro.
That shit's just all fucked up.
Well, you gotta think about the government they're living under. It's like not a totalitarian. What the fuck do they call their government? Communist or some shit?
Imperialist? I don't know.
Dictatorship?
I don't know if it's a dictatorship.
I don't know too much.
I think that's more like South
They have a king.
Korea.
They have an emperor. Thailand has a king.
I know Thailand has a king. I know that fool be wildin'.
Shit.
That fool be wildin'.
No, he'd be wildin'. He has like I don't know how many wives, but
Dude, you hear
it's cool
about
in my book.
He made his one of his wives like beg for sorrow or something like at his feet. I mean,
Do you guys remember that movie, The Dictator?
Oh yeah,
It's
with
with
Sacha Baron Cohen.
That shit was kind of funny.
That is funny. That was a funny one.
Remember, he's like running the race, and the
Yeah.
guy was like gets too close and he blasts him.
Like when he does the cutthroat gesture with his hand, like no,
oh yeah,
like take the guy out.
Oh yeah, and he goes,
You're probably telling me cut the mic,
Yeah.
cut the podcast.
I'm like, oh shit, what's up?
So basically, COVID-19, man-made in the lab. That's what I think.
okay,
That's what I'm saying.
okay.
I think that shit's
I
spread.
think
That's what I'm saying.
Somewhere along the way, that shit became political.
I think.
Oh, 100%.
I think there's okay, cool. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think there was one way to like determine whether or not like it is man-made is like what is the purpose of making the virus? Like, is it just to create chaos during like an election year,
I think so. What time will tell?
some shit like that?
Time will
Is it
tell.
like
After
is
November?
it something like just made to like decimate the fucking population? I mean, what who gains from that other than like other than the companies that are fucking thriving right now?
Bill
I mean,
Gates,
is that like fucking like on purpose shit? Like
Dr. Fauci? Do they have something?
that's
Are
what
they
I mean. Like there's those videos they pop out, and
don't
they're
know
like,
what to
hey,
believe
don't
anymore,
trust those
man.
fools. And then there's like all these videos that are like, nah, we should trust these dudes. And you're
I
like,
don't know, man. It's too much.
well,
Too much information, misinformation.
it's what it is, man.
Not like conspiracy dummy. Here
I
we're
feel
trying
like-
to get to the bottom line of shit and have fun with these conspiracies.
I feel like
but
like as long as we try not to buy into all the bullshit and just kind of like expose it, like
it
like,
makes everybody think.
you know what I mean, for real, because.
It's nothing wrong being a critical thinker. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You gotta, in a time that shit doesn't make sense, man. Fuck, you need a little peace of mind,
So yeah, I mean, like, I'm not totally convinced that it's a man-made on purpose like virus, just because they've been kind of like warning against this shit for years, dude.
And that's another.
They've been
thing.
They've been like talking about like
Recently,
if we don't do something, if we don't create better conditions indoors, if we don't like find better materials to fucking build with, all this shit, there's gonna be an outbreak of fucking something. It just happened to be fucking some bullshit like animal to human thing, but I mean, like, it could have been been some like they were saying even the money that we use, bro.
Maybe it's in the mask that they're making us wear.
Imagine shit.
That'd be some fucking sinister shit. Huh? I think so.
You have to make your own mask now and shit.
So what's your predictions for this virus? Where do you think, like, next year, beginning of next year, where do you think we're going to be at?
It's hard to say. I hope that somewhere will be. I don't really think herd immunity is gonna happen. To be completely honest with you, I don't think that's gonna be a possibility. But
what is that?
It might spike.
herd
November.
immunability. What
Where the majority of people get the virus.
right
And
right
eventually
Become-
immune
right.
to it.
You become
yeah.
immune to it.
But with that,
immunity,
having that play out,
Kinda
there
like,
will be some
chickenpox and shit.
right?
some casualties.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
kind of like the same thing. But some people are more susceptible to it, so that.
Yeah.
So I don't really think that's going to be the case, to be completely honest with you. But we'll see. Maybe they'll have a vaccine. Maybe we'll be able to have most people recover from it. We'll have a more lesser negative or lesser positive test results. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I mean, it's always day by day with this virus. You really never know which way it's going to go, because you're always hearing like it's up and it's down, and you just don't know. So it's
when there's
it's
something
hard
else in the news, like something else pops up,
Yeah.
it'll go away for a while, which leads me into the next topic we're going to talk about.
Well, I mean, if I can make
I'm sorry about that. Go ahead. What's your prediction?
If I can make one prediction that about the coronavirus, not necessarily in terms of like, vaccines or deaths or anything like that, but I think one thing that is like showed us is that like indoor air quality and surface protection is paramount now to like living a normal like lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you can walk around like and breathe comfortably without a mask, because you know that like the facility you're in is cleaning your indoor air, whatever, and constantly cleaning the things that you touch, then, you know, it should be like safe, you know, for things to go back to normal. So what I think is that a lot of businesses in like places like apartment complexes and hotels and conference halls or theaters or movie theaters are going to like buy some kind of like service or some kind of like air quality, like air purifier
or drive-ins.
technology.
Yeah, there's a lot of drive-ins starting to open.
Yeah.
Things are changing, man.
Things
will
are
change.
changing.
If there's no vaccine, and you know, even if there is a vaccine for it, who's gonna want to take it? Who's gonna trust that? There's so much shit behind that too. I guess we can get into it, but we don't have enough time.
True.
So
yeah,
yeah. I don't know. We hope for the best for this COVID situation.
Sure.
Yeah. So like I said, it's here right now, and it'll be gone again next month if something else pops up. It's just how the media works, right? And who knows about them if they're trustworthy. Back in what was it? April. When was this incident that took place with the George Floyd death?
Probably around April. I mean, that sounds about right. I would honestly have to look to be sure.
Probably, huh? May is when we really had the virus, the lockdown and all that, I believe, right?
It had to have been
and then April
Yeah.
came, and that's probably
April 16th, right?
April 16th. I guess we should find out, huh? Before we.
May 25th.
Fucking way
We're
off.
way off. Fuck.
2
Fucking
days.
Dude, that's what
off.
happens when you're just not doing shit. You're just inside your home on lockdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it just happens when there's a fucking 24-hour fucking news cycle.
True.
You know what I mean?
So, his death. There's a lot of shit around his death, too. It looks crazy, man. The video is sad. It's really sad. But there's a history between the two of them. They both supposedly worked at a bar or
I know together,
restaurant
right?
together, so, as security. I believe he was still an officer, and the other gentleman was a security. So they knew each other.
Yeah, I heard this. What the story was is that he, Derek Chauvin, was a police officer for that surrounding city, and at some point in time, the club owner, called out for this person. You know, hey, would you mind stopping by on the weekends? You know,
A lot of cops do that stuff.
He would say, hey, she would say, hey, look, just come. You know, park your car in the parking lot. You can come hang out in the club. Just, you know, wear a uniform. Like, I want to have some kind of presence. And he was kind of low key, you know, doing that. You know what I mean? I'm sure he would pay her a few $100s a weekend or whatever.
Oh, was it a lady?
Yeah, it was a lady that owned the bar. The lady that owned the bar.
It's a lady.
Yeah, it's a lady that owned the bar, and she contacted Derek Chauvin to do all this stuff. So they never had immediate, always direct contact, I don't believe, but they definitely were working knownst or beknownst, you know, to themselves together for quite some time. So
Damn, that's fucking. I mean, that's so fucking savage, though. Like, knowing them or not knowing them, like, to fucking just stay on the fool like that, it's just savage as fuck.
So is it a race issue or a police brutality issue?
it's
yeah.
definitely both. I mean, it's definitely both. It's both. Let's be honest here. It's both. It's because it's obviously.
But let's be honest. There was also an Asian man there.
I mean,
But
what was the
dude,
other half? Like
nah.
another no. What were the other two officers?
so one guy was an interracial, a Caucasian and African American gentleman. The other guy, I believe, was of Asian descent. The other guy, I think there was a Caucasian gentleman, and there was Derek Chauvin. There might be one other person I can't recall at the moment, but I'm
yeah, 'cause
These
there's only 4 officers.
these are the people I'm remembering in my head.
heard
That were there.
I heard 2 of those dudes were like, it was like their first or second day or something
It was
like that.
a lot of
dude.
them were pretty new and shit. So who knows if?
But
Derek,
that's like, okay, so that's that gang mentality that I sometimes talk about too. Is that like, here you have like already like a dude like Derek was Chauvin, whatever, and he's just doing something and like, all right, you just supposed to follow like, you know,
Protocol.
you're supposed to, you just have to back up. You have to back up the person that's in your gang, like regardless of what they're doing, you just have to back them up, dude.
Colors.
Yeah, it's like
Colors.
yeah, bro. And then
Colors.
the police is essentially like a gang.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Fuck yeah.
It's like the biggest, most networked, hardcore is fucking gang
Yeah.
ever of all time.
And with his death, which is very sad.
Also, there are a lot of heroes and fucking badass cops too. I mean, I don't like mean to fucking like the great fucking police officers and shit.
You're not using a wide paintbrush.
But like the system of the police department, I think is fucking antiquated as AF, as fuck.
Yeah, for sure.
Old.
Oh yeah.
Well, there's definitely needs to be reform, and there's definitely systemic racism. I really do believe that this wasn't only like police brutality. There was also a lot of racism, behind this, which is fucking unfortunate when you think about, 2020. I mean, I don't know the one off the top of my head, but slavery was, slaves were freed a long time ago. Like, just the fact that we still have this systemic racism is pretty fucked up. And it's pretty crazy, not to mention police brutality, because I really do think that there needs to be like a pretty decent, a large police reform, for all this shit to happen. Because they're, I think they've lowered the standard of what you can, go to be a cop. Before, you needed like a 4-year fucking degree. You needed to be a real motherfucker. They would send you through some psychological tests, and if you didn't pass it, you're out, Jack. You know what I mean? So there definitely needs to be some legit fucking reform. Because now, dude, they're just hiring any fucking Momo just off the fucking street. Some motherfucker like me that gets bullied in high school and shit, wants some a little bit of authority. I decided, fuck it, you know what? I'm going to go be a cop, right?
Well,
and the one time somebody pops off, bang! I mean,
that's
like, what's going on.
That's
right
how
now.
gangs recruit, dude. That's how gangs recruit. Like, you don't get the most fucking smartest badass motherfucker on there and be like, hey, man, we need you to fucking do this fucked up shit.
Hey, wait, but think about this. What if they lowered their standards a little bit so they don't have to pay the cops as much? Think about it. If you hire somebody, with a 4-year degree, you'd have to pay them more. But if you say, hey, totally fuck it. Hey, you know what I'm saying? You got a high school degree and you pass this little psychological test. We'll pay you, 40 G's as opposed to 65 G's having a 4-year degree, putting your life on the line. So fuck it. That's probably a reason why they lowered their standards.
I totally agree, dude. Like, if the police are going to reform, if they're really going to fucking, like, expect better from police officers, they got to pay them hella much more money.
Oh, yeah.
And they got to pay them hella much more money.
Dude, because you literally never, like, you're risking your life.
You're risking your life. And that, I bet you that's why a lot of these fucking cops are corrupt too, because they fucking need that extra cash flow and shit.
Yep.
You heard about it all the time in, like, the 70s and shit when, like, good cops go bad, and they would be, like, in with the little, not the mob crew, but the people, that ran the drugs and shit, and they would look, turn a blind, they would turn a blind eye and shit for an extra $1,000 a week or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? So that's still going on to some rate. Do you remember all the videos of, like, police, like, they would pull over prostitutes and end up getting a blowjob, and the fucking prostitute would go free and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of that shit still fucking goes on.
Man, there's a few cops that fucking, like, been convicted of fucking raping motherfuckers and shit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Lately, too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But, like, yeah, I definitely, like, they gotta, like, oh, gosh, that sounded weird.
Well, let me get on with this, guys.
But hold up, but, like, but if I can make this last point is that, like, if they're gonna reform, they gotta get rid of a bunch of motherfuckers first.
Oh yeah,
kind of like a police academy kind of shit.
Right? No, yeah.
100%.
Fuck it, just
Out of that situation, led to the protests, rightfully so.
Yeah, man.
The nation spoke up, and we had like protesting going on in every major city in the nation.
Oh, across the globe. Across the globe.
It started out in America, and then slowly it hit. It went to everywhere, France, and then Germany. It went to Europe. It went to Asia. Like, people were, screaming, "Say his name!" and "I can't breathe." And I think either English or probably maybe their language. I'm not sure, but
I believe in Europe or something, there was photos of the same kind of arrest being made with an officer on top of another gentleman.
Yeah, and I think it was France, maybe. Same thing.
Around the same
it
time.
was a white guy, knee on the neck, black dude, facing a camera, car facing the other way, 4 other cops around. I mean, it was a mirror fucking image.
Wow.
Like if you put those pictures side by side, you'd be like, I absolutely live in an alternate reality, because the same thing literally happened on the other side of the world, and near same spot on the same fucking day, dude.
On the same day?
Maybe, I don't know.
More or
about the
less
same
around
day.
the
Oh, I was
same
like,
day.
what the fuck?
I
I
never
might have
seen
added
this.
that in.
Holy
I'm not
shit.
sure.
But yeah, around the same day though.
It was
Around the
close.
same time.
It
Oh,
might-
but
it
like,
might-
yeah.
it was a close
yeah,
time.
okay,
yeah.
okay.
It was a close
That's still,
timeline.
that's pretty like suspicious.
Eh,
That's suspect.
coincidence.
It's suspect, but
At best, it's suspect.
it is suspect, which led into some like shady shit too. Like the peaceful protesting turned into some fucking riots, I guess you would say. Agents of provocateurs, agents of chaos, running amok.
Yeah.
Starting shit, throwing fucking rocks and breaking windows. Someone's leaving pile of bricks in front of buildings. Here, I think here in Dallas too, D-Town Boogie, there's some fucking bricks in front of what building was it, Mr. Williams?
I'm not. It might have been the big hotel that's on Elm Street down in downtown Dallas. It was in an area where there's a lot of skyscrapers.
Crescent?
It is on YouTube.
It was
I don't
either
think we could
Crescent
use
or
it, but the
Croissant.
video,
I'm not
but-
sure, but either way, there was all glass buildings, and there was no fucking construction, but just random bricks of fucking. Random piles of bricks were laid up, all strewn across the street.
All
Just
suspect.
all suspect, dude.
All suspect.
All suspect.
So you thinking that like somebody was
I don't know.
counting on some damage and shit, or
Well-
like you think it's like some rich fucking protester that was like, hey y'all, fuck these fucking, let's get some fucking bricks.
Telling you,
Well,
man.
bring 'em down here.
To be completely honest, there's no way
'Cause
that
I
I
mean-
can tell you with any kind of certainty that whether it was some rich protester, if it was an agent provocateur, like I don't know who the fuck put those bricks
mean,
there.
'cause-
But it's a weird coincidence that here in Dallas, where 2 days before the march, there were no fucking bricks, no construction, and then all of a sudden, pallet of bricks show up. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, man, that's a weird fucking coincidence to me. To me.
No,
For
to
real.
me too. Yeah,
It is.
it is, man.
2 days before the fucking mass protests were gonna happen in Dallas, walking down this certain, they knew the fucking route and shit. Bam, pallet of bricks show up. I mean, you fucking tell me.
Yeah,
No
someone's
construction around.
Someone's staging something.
Yeah, something's got to go on, man. I mean, did you see the video of the Umbrella Man? Did you see that guy? So it was an agent provocateur, and he's wearing a gas mask
Oh,
and a
I
trench
did, and
coat
he was
and
like
an umbrella,
knocking windows
out of an AutoZone and shit. You know who owns AutoZone?
Yeah.
George
Oh,
Soros.
George Soros.
Yeah. Think about that, man.
Target too.
He owns Target
think
too.
so.
He owns Target too. He doesn't own Target, but he owns a lot of stock in both of those stores. So, and George Soros has a lot of stock in every major store you can
So
think of.
then, like, why not like some other powerful figure that we're talking about? Like,
Who
couldn't
owns
we
the media?
coincidentally like be
Well,
talking about them?
Well, they own the media too, I believe.
Right.
George Soros.
He owns a lot of news
Yeah.
outlets.
George
That's right.
George Soros owns a lot of shit.
See, that's the
Yeah.
thing too, man. At the end of the day, it all becomes political. The virus,
Yes.
the situation itself,
And here's like
they use it as like some, and like you could see how it gets turned on each other. Like,
I totally agree. I think in
like people lose the message. People lose the message in that because they're so tribal, and it's just back and forth, back and forth. It just doesn't make sense. Even with the COVID situation, back and forth. Just,
what do you mean?
like people, like with the mask, wear the mask, don't wear the mask.
Oh, yeah,
it all
yeah.
becomes political
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like if they're, I don't know.
It does it though.
Well, yeah, because a lot of times, like to be honest
What's-
with you, a lot of the people. Hold on, a lot of the people that they say that are anti-maskers are on the right, are Republican or whatever the fuck, right? And most of the people that are like, fucking wear a mask. I'm not leaving my fucking house. I'm always fucking getting shit delivered. Those typically are more like people on the left, right? Like Democrats and shit, right? So that's why people that are anti-maskers and shit, all these Karens you see at the store and shit, are all yelling, "It's my fucking right. Colorado issues section number 4, paragraph 3, word 8, the," and then they're like, "Oh shit, I don't have to wear a fucking mask." You're like, what the fuck's going on here? So most of those people that are anti-mask tend to be on the right, whereas most maskers tend to be on the left. So
Here's what I think, and it's totally like is true, and I think I don't know if it's exactly that or if it's just like a symptom of having to fill a 24-hour fucking news cycle. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many news outlets. It's so much news. Everybody needs ratings, and there's only a certain amount of likes, only a certain amount of views that you can get. And they're all competing for the same shit. And they know if they fucking say some shit like, oh, fucking Donald Trump fucking created the fucking coronavirus because he wants to be fucking president. They know they're going to get fucking likes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have a very, very strong feeling that, like, yes, that the virus is real, but the politicizing it is to create like television.
Mass hysteria.
Yeah. I think it's for television. I think it's for fucking like.
There's an agenda being
You
played.
think there's a lot of fear
There's something
mongering?
going
I think it's
agenda?
I totally think that's what it is.
Okay.
And I think it's either to like get votes. So maybe in that way, but I don't.
So you think COVID-19 is pure political like scheme, whatever the fuck? Like it's no.
I think the politicizing of it is for television.
Oh, okay.
I think saying like, well, people that don't want to wear a mask is because they're stupid Trump voters. I think that's for television. I think people dying and like wearing masks and shit like that. I think that's real. So, I mean, but maybe coronavirus was created to do that shit. I mean, fucking who knows, right? I mean,
fucking maybe.
But it could be like the lizard people and shit.
Oh, dude, don't even get me started on that.
Well, the lizard people, whoever they may be, the powers that be.
We'll be right back after the lizard.
But they do own the media, and then they're showing this on the news
on
like
the 24 hours
24/7.
Yeah, exactly.
They're showing it, putting it in your mind. And police reform, I do believe that in some way there has to be something done. Not defunding the police.
No, you can't defund the police.
Me personally,
because
I don't think you can do that.
Listen to me. Here's what's going to happen if you defund the police. Okay, when you defund the police, a lot of rich people are going to buy their own security, ex-Mossad, ex-Navy SEALs, and then what the fuck am I going to do? You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be able to call fucking.
Don't fuck with rich people.
Don't fuck with rich people, man.
Well, that's the other thing. But then there will be a lot of there will be more crime and this and that, blah blah blah.
I think there'll be less people around to like stop people personal security from flexing on motherfuckers like us. But what I think is that if the people are gonna defund the police and not fund the police, I think there's gonna be another fucking service. There's gotta be another fucking like, well, what the fuck am I gonna do with shit?
Well, that's
I don't
what I'm
even
saying.
know.
There'll be privatized security instead of public security. There'll be privatized security.
Right. Yeah.
So
Like
you'll
if
have
you
to
live in
be-
this, like if you would like
know
live
what
in
I'm
this
saying?
area,
Yeah,
you'd
fuck
be like,
yeah.
don't worry, we're protected by fucking Eagle One security.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Well, like it's gonna be like
Right.
that fucking like
You know how like when you move into an apartment,
Friday Part 3 and shit.
You know when you move into an apartment, they're like, "Oh,
Friday
you can
nights.
only get this one internet. You can only get we're
Yeah.
tied into this one
Yeah.
cable." That's the same shit. Like, "Oh, we have the Eagle Force, asshole kicking security system, and he patrols 4 times a night."
That's
blah,
a good
blah, blah.
that's a good movie plot.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like I said, 1 month it's a deadly virus. The next month you have a police brutality issue / murder. You got protesting, riots, and now leading into the next month, we have our military, issues with our military. And
here,
yeah.
here close to home, right?
Close to home.
Yeah.
At Fort Hood.
Vanessa Guillen.
Vanessa Guillen was missing for a few days, right? Or how long was it? No, a month, I believe.
She was missing for
a while.
Yeah, the mom was even on Spanish TV. She was online even before they reported it around here, like with her fucking picture on a poster, her and her sister out there, like pleading, like trying to get their words out. I found it, like one of my friends shared it online on Instagram. I instantly shared it, and then then I just saw everybody else like sharing more and more of the same stuff. Mm-hmm. I signed the petition to to how just find it, and then like you start seeing more and more news and stuff, and then like it was almost like once it started getting national coverage, they were like, oh, okay, fuck, like not only did they find the guy that did it, they found him dead.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, they say
They found him suicided.
they found the suspect dead. They say after autopsies
They
that
didn't
when
even find
they-
her. They found her remains.
Yeah.
when they found her after
We-
they did the autopsy.
A week prior to them finding her, they thought they found her,
That's right.
Right.
and I believe it was like in a field or something. Right.
Right.
And it ended up being another soldier, a young
Yeah.
man. Do you guys have his name? Can you look up that soldier's name
Let's
for me,
see.
man, so we can? But
Let's-
yeah,
Let me look up this gentleman.
and as of today, I believe yesterday, what's today? We're gonna date ourselves right now. July, fuck, what today's? What's today?
24th.
July 24th. And yesterday, or the day before that, I believe they found another body of another
I
gentleman.
think it was yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically,
Yeah.
there's some shit going on at Fort Hood, man. Fort Hood's up to no good. I don't know what's
Yeah,
going
man.
on there, but I believe
There was-
years prior to that, like what's
Years
going
prior,
on?
There was a shooting.
A shooting,
Yep.
and also like a sex ring that they busted there too.
A sex ring.
Yep, I believe so. Right? Something was involved with some shit like that over there.
Possibly.
I,
I
think
mean,
like 30 soldiers or
it-
something was arrested for that.
Wow.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, so a young man died. They found his body near the base a day ago, and they found another gentleman near a lake that was like apparently near the base. So,
Well, she had been already like telling the mom that she was
Being sexually harassed.
being harassed.
Somebody
and she
came
was,
in
and
she
had
was
a
kind of
shower.
worried. She was
Well,
worried and stuff.
what? So after they did the autopsy, the autopsy guy came back and they said that her body, she was bludgeoned
Bludgeoned.
to death with a hammer.
Yep.
Her body was dismembered and she was burned. So
So the guy, the killer was also a fellow
who
soldier.
could be a patsy.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Who could be a patsy.
Could be a fancy.
it's possible. It's
Very possible.
Yeah.
Him and his girlfriend did all this shit, or he did it because.
But see, that's
some
what I don't
shit.
understand. That's that case. What about the other gentleman that they found?
He could have been one of those dudes that was trying to talk about it.
And
It could have been it could have been the exact same situation.
guy that they
you know,
found
somebody's trying to like say
days
like
ago?
somebody like getting out, like telling their parents like, hey, like there's some crazy shit going on, and then it gets back.
But two young men, another gentleman they just found yesterday too. That guy just killed himself. Not the gentleman that they found, but
The one that
that
the accused,
did the
the one
murder.
that's-
Yeah,
Yeah.
he committed
So
suicide.
what's going on still with all these other people popping up?
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
That's a good point. It's a good point.
I mean, if he's, like, yeah, right. If he's dead, like, who's responsible for these bodies?
There's got to be some crazy shit because, like you said, back in whenever the fuck, 2010, 2012, whenever, this gentleman went and shot, I don't know, it was the largest mass shooting on a military base in U.S. history. This gentleman came and I believe he did it in the name of some sort of terroristic
Religious
religious
belief or
situation.
something like that.
Yeah, and he went around and shot a bunch of people, killed them dead on the ground. Never got to see their families again. This happened in Fort Hood.
yeah,
So there's
wasn't it
been
like a handgun?
lot of conspiracies surrounding Fort Hood, and then they find all these bodies flying around. And does that speak volumes to how bad our military system is? I mean,
Or at least something there, man. I don't know about other forts. Back home,
I'm
Fort
sure there's
Bliss, we
been.
don't- I'm sure there's shit, but I
there's
never
been,
heard of anything.
you know, there's got to be problems.
I
at
mean,
other
shit happens
bases.
shit happens in
Yeah.
Fort Bliss as well, dude.
You-
I mean,
yeah.
there's always murder, suicide shit.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
I say
There's-
always, but I mean like
Something, some soldier going off base, partying and shit, getting in trouble. Probably, I heard of stories like
Dude,
that. Maybe.
especially if you're a female, and you're at that base, and it's 97%, 98% male, and you're a fucking female there. Good luck.
that sucks, dude.
I mean, I'm not trying to sit here and say that women can't be in the military, but I'm just saying like I don't trust men enough for a female to like be put like alone with, like, if they like segregate and stuff, that'd be tight, but even still, I still worry about that. I know there's plenty of women that come out fine, and I know of a girl that went in the Air Force, was fine. She worked on airplanes, never had an issue.
Yeah.
But, you know, I just worry about that. Because this is what happened to Vanessa.
Well, there's predators, dude. There's predators, and they seek out.
And with that, they are predators. And I believe, well, I know that one just turned herself in, or they captured her. One or the other.
Yeah.
One or the other. Maybe she made a plea deal, tell him, hey, I'm going to be here.
Sexual predators.
She was here, yeah. I'm going to go and jump into the next topic. And Jeffrey Epstein's confidant, Ghislaine Maxwell. Around the same time when this was going on with the Fort Hood issue, she was arrested. I believe, where was she found?
She was found in New Hampshire. And a lot of people were saying that she was in Paris, she was in Israel, but she bought that property in New Hampshire 9 months ago. 9 months prior to when she was caught, she bought that fucking property in New Hampshire. You know what also happened 9 months before that? Guess whose fucking bank account that was dead opened up? Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein.
His bank account opened up?
Remember,
I believe so.
I don't know if it was 9 months ago, but after he had died, his bank account reactivated, it opened up, and people were making withdrawals and shifting money around and everything out of a dead man's bank account. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, Ghislaine, around that time, a few months after, buys this luxurious property in New Hampshire. She's chilling, big chilling. And then fucking, the FBI comes and knocks on her door, and she's having a sip of tea. Oh, hello, love. What can I do for you? Would you like some tea? And they're like, nah, fuck you, bitch. You're coming with us.
Yanked her ass.
Let me ask you. Did Jeffrey Epstein kill himself?
I don't think so.
Nah, Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself. I don't think so. Because the thing is like he definitely could have pleaded his way out of that. There's no way. But the other thing I also think about is like in jail, they take pedophilia and all that stuff very seriously. So whenever you come in with those kind of charges on your back, you already have a target on your back already. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to be coming after you one way or the other. So, but I don't know if they put him in some sort of high security or whatnot, but there's too many coincidences around his death with the cameras going out and all this other stuff. So I
think they tried killing him like weeks before he actually died.
Yeah.
So you mean
they put him on suicide watch?
You mean they executed him then? Like
he was
jail style and
suicided.
No. Yeah.
Oh yeah. They found him. I think he was hanging.
They punched his ticket.
Hanging from the doorknob or some kind of door. No, he wasn't hanging up high, was he? I think he was.
He was hanging from like the bunk bed or something. From one of the rails. From the bunk bed.
But the person that did the autopsy.
He said that he didn't die from suicide. It had to have been a homicide with the way the neck bones were broken.
Ooh.
And you know what's funny about that, dude, is literally, and this blows my fucking mind, dude. Think about this. The same guy that did George Floyd's autopsy, Michael Jackson's autopsy, Jeffrey Epstein's autopsy, JFK's autopsy, and probably a few other famous people that I can't remember at the moment. The same gentleman did all, from JFK to George Floyd, did his fucking autopsy. Right?
Damn.
So this one guy did all their autopsies. And then he came back and he, said, they had this one guy. They're like, we're going to ship the body over somewhere else.
Why you whisper?
And so they shipped the body. They shipped the body somewhere else. And they did an autopsy. And they were like, oh, he died by suicide. But it was a private, autopsy, dude. And then what's-his-face fucking got it. And he took a peek see and he was like, bro, this dude definitely died of a fucking homicide. There's no fucking way he died from suicide. He did the autopsy on JFK. When did JFK die? In the fucking 60s or whatever the fuck? A long ass time ago. This dude just did an autopsy in 2019. This guy's seen a lot of fucking dead bodies.
Was he involved with the magic bullet? Did he put it on the gurney right there? Just
fucking
dropped it and walked away?
Maybe that'll be another episode. Who fucking knows?
Yeah. Well, what do you think about this chick? Think she's gonna be suicided?
Nah, I really think that she's gonna sing like a bird, and they they were thought about giving her bail, but I really don't think they will. I hope not.
I think she had 80 documents. I heard something yesterday, but
The judge just unsealed. He said, "Fuck you. You're not. You can't put a seal on all the evidence that you have."
So you're gonna, like, in the next few weeks, maybe a month, you're gonna be hearing about a lot of people coming out.
Yeah.
A lot of people, man.
You think so?
Oh yeah, powerful people. And this was my theory. It's as crazy as it sounds. COVID, with everything with George Floyd and the protests and the riots and all that, I believe all that shit was a smoke screen. I believe a distraction, because investigations were going on since last year, or even I don't know how long. But there's some powerful people, dude, that are involved with this shit. And you gotta think, what would someone do to protect their legacy, their fortune, whatever, man? What would they do if shit like that was to get out? I think they'll do anything.
You think they'd unleash a pandemic
I think they'll watch
onto
the world burn before shit like that happens, bro.
I don't know.
It's crazy it sounds.
I don't know.
I told you that, Mr. Williams, bro, a while back. Yeah. All this shit's going on right after all this shit. Even now, dude, so much shit's going on. I believe it's all a distraction because this shit was going on.
What's a distraction from?
The investigations that's
from
going
like
on.
the sex ring.
Sex ring, Jeffrey Epstein, everybody that's involved. Fuck Pedo Island, whatever the fuck you call it.
So if as many powerful people are involved as they say they are, then yeah.
Entertainers, bro, musicians. Actors,
I think it's a crazy
Dude.
stretch. I think it's a stretch like unbelievable that I don't think connects. But it very well could be. If we find out like the most powerful people in the world are involved in some weird shit, like whatever. Yeah, but
royalty.
I don't think so, man.
Dude,
think about it. Think of everyone that could be involved with this shit.
I'm telling you right now that he's completely right. This COVID-19 shit is definitely a smoke screen, dude. Because they're hiding all this sex ring shit, man.
Dude, let me tell you this. Think
about all the fucking people that have been caught during this whole, pedogate and all this. Bill Gates, fucking Bill
not
Clinton.
Caught, but the suspects.
Suspects that
Suspect.
are alleged and blah, blah, blah. All these people on flight logs. A lot of, high up fucking people, dude. There's definitely some shit behind this. And this makes total sense. Why would they not do this when the media is owned by, 4 fucking companies and shit? And the world is run by satanic pedophile lizard people. There's no fucking way, dude, that this is not a fucking smoke screen. I guarantee you, in the fucking future, when we look back on this, I know we don't really know much about fucking JFK and all that other stuff because it was an inside job. They had him murdered, dude. They were he was going to talk about secret societies and fucking open up the Pandora's box to every fucking thing, dude. And they're like, pow! Fuck you, dude. Not happening, Jack.
Let me ask you a question.
He definitely ran in those circles.
Name me one celebrity. Name me one politician. Name me someone that's really high up that died from this. You hear about them getting sick. Tom Hanks, Idris Elba. People get sick. But name me someone that's died from this disease, virus.
The only person of large publicity was a gentleman who was a baseball photographer for a certain baseball team that I can't remember right now. But he was a baseball. Whenever you watch a baseball game and you see the guy with the long camera and everything like this, he was one of those gentlemen that got the virus and passed away. That's the only person that I can think of right now of, high publicity that has gotten it and passed away.
Maybe there is a vaccine. Maybe they're working on it right now, but maybe there was one that's someone had it since the beginning.
A rich people vaccine?
Rich people vaccine. Someone just chilling on the island somewhere, waiting till all this shit just blows over, hopefully. It's crazy, man. That was my theory when all this shit was going on. I was like, because I was following all that shit, bro, with the Epstein case and stuff, and it's just weird how it just disappeared, and it came back as soon as this girl got arrested. So that's good, man. We're gonna see a lot of shit with that. We're gonna get into another segment. and it's gonna be really, really crazy.
Here we go. Here's a new segment starting off right now. Coming to you, fresh from the presses, like a hot dress.
The lesser of three evils. Okay. All right.
Here we go.
Let's start with Joaquin. How about that?
Okay.
Okay.
What do we got? JC.
You gotta choose one of the lesser of three evils.
Okay.
Get COVID.
Okay.
Be labeled as a Karen or the male version of a Karen, I guess a Chad in society.
Okay.
Or fuck or get fucked on Pedo Island.
Oh.
You have to pick. Lesser of three evils, my friend.
I suppose I guess getting called a Chad like wouldn't really faze me. I guess things that people say to me don't really faze me unless it's like they call you they call you a pussy. Well, I guess if you're getting called a Chad, you're getting called a pussy.
You probably can go live on the island somewhere yourself.
That's
man.
it. Yeah, fucking shit. All right.
How about you, Mr. Williams? What do you think?
What
Question: either get COVID,
Uh-huh.
be labeled as a Chad or a Karen in society,
Uh-huh.
or fuck or be fucked on Pedo Island.
I think for me, the lesser of three evils, I would probably have to say would be definitely getting COVID. Because if I get COVID, I'm not gonna have any symptoms, baby. I'm gonna come off scotch-free, not a problem. I'll have 1, 2 days of mild symptoms, maybe. That's if I even fucking get it. So to me, the lesser of three evils is fucking COVID for sure. Shit.
Yeah, I agree.
If
I
that's
would've
gonna
picked that one
impact,
too.
that's gonna impact me the most. Fuck you. Shit, I don't want to
Right,
be
'cause
labeled
then
as
it's
I don't
gone,
want to be
right?
labeled as a Chad or a fucking Karen the rest of my life. Fuck you.
And fuck that.
Fuck, if I go to try to get my groceries at Super Target, I'm getting fucking, people are throwing paninis and fucking lunch meat and all this, deli cheese and shit at me. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? And they're like screaming at me. Fuck that. I'd
Well,
rather
what
get
are you
COVID.
talking about? They got COVID and shit. You're not gonna be in the deli and shit.
Well, what?
You're
I
gonna be at
had
home.
3 days of I had 3 days of mild symptoms. Fuck
You're
you.
like, get your fucking mask on, bitch.
Fuck that. I'll tell them I got herd immunity.
All right, that was a little segment. We'll work on this game, other games, or other things of that nature. All right, we're gonna get into some current conspiracy stuff that's going on right now in the news. UFOs, baby. So hit him up, Mr. Williams, and tell him what's up.
So the Pentagon today just released that they do believe that UFOs, off-world objects, are real, and that they have encountered and videotaped what they believe to be off-world objects that they can't describe, and judging by the physics in these videos that they can't say is of this world. So that would be an unidentified flying object. So that basically tells us here and there that we are in fact not fucking alone, and that the universe is infinitely large and vast, and that there's definitely some sort of other intelligent life force being out there that is coming to either check on us or to view us as a zoo. You know what I'm saying? Something of that nature, dude.
No, I agree, man. I recently too, I guess, what's his name? That one, the one that worked at the Los Alamos lab. Bob Lazar.
Bob Lazar.
Yeah.
Ever since he resurfaced again, with that video and stuff, and being
Yep.
on Joe Rogan's and
Yep.
stuff.
Ever since he was on Joe Rogan.
Yeah, because ever since that video of them being in there, of him being on the show,
Yeah.
after that, I think a few months later, that everyone was gonna plan to storm Area 51.
Yeah.
All this
Storm Area 51.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I would have been down for that shit, but I was working at the time. But yeah.
So like, these are close encounters of the second kind, then,
Yeah.
right? What's the first time? The first encounter
kind
is like
abduction.
abduction.
Yeah. So close encounters. I think of,
and then the second
there's the third
second kind. The third kind. No, the third kind is like contact. The fourth kind is abduction.
Oh.
The second kind is like sighting or something like that. I don't remember. And I think the first is like memories or something like, I don't remember. There's like 4 kinds of encounters, or maybe there's 5. I mean, who knows how many encounters there are.
The fact that and didn't we hear like, and think about this, you know, I hate to name drop, but there's a podcaster that I listened to, and he was talking about how they were, you know, it would be crazy if they said, you know, aliens are real this year with everything that's going on. Think about all the stuff that we just talked about, the problems in Fort Hood, COVID-19, you know, George Floyd, the protests, the riots, you know, everything that's going on, Ghislaine Maxwell, murder hornets, everything that's going on.
Wayfair,
shit,
dude.
Wayfair, we didn't even talk about Wayfair.
Oh,
the
yeah.
cabinets,
There's just so
bro.
much, man. I know,
Dude,
we did our
there's
best,
so much
but
going
there's
on
so
in
much going on.
2020, dude.
2020 will be that year.
Dude,
2020 be that year.
Go down in history, man. And the year that we started fucking conspiracy dummy. Take care.
Dummy. Conspiracy dummy.
And we're back. Like, it never changed.
For real, for real. Hey, man, the hardest thing for me podcasting personally, other than like making it come into fruition and shit, is hearing yourself on the fucking,
This is true.
like a year from now, you know what I mean? Or whatever, a year back then. Or just hearing yourself, period, on the mic. It sounds fucking weird.
yeah.
I think you have to be vulnerable to it, because you're not you're not hearing yourself the way you hear yourself in your head.
Yes.
You have to hear yourself the way somebody else hears you.
Yeah.
And like, since it's not the same, you have to be like vulnerable to the fact, like, shit, I sound stupid.
And I think if you get past that, you can do podcasting.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, you'll never grow. I mean, if you just don't, like you said, be vulnerable and take a look at what your flaws are and what you need to work on.
For real, for real. So, yeah, so this episode was a time capsule episode that we did back of last year in July, I guess 24th. And so we're going to recap everything that was said, or maybe not everything, but we're going to get into a little bit of most of the stuff that was said, and just see what has changed since then, and see if we still think the same shit, man, about everything.
I know. I mean, like, it's interesting to
went on.
like think how much yourself from 1 year ago might have shocked you.
For real.
Some of the things you might have said, like, it might have been like, I don't think that I was gonna say that, or like, wow, I'm thinking the exact same thing.
But man, we were kind of like on the nose with a lot of shit, or I don't know. We'll see.
I think the herd immunity when it came to COVID was like something that,
Maybe more of a media narrative than an actual possibility.
yeah, like, well, I mean, like, we think about it now. I mean, you can go anywhere in Texas without a mask.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like,
Regardless of
We've all-
vaccination status.
we've all kind of accepted that it's because we're all immune to it now, because enough people have had it. And so I think they probably have the attitude of, it's not going to be that bad.
I think what most people are worried about now are all the new variants coming out, the Delta strain, everything like that.
Yeah.
You know,
And I've been reading about it the same way that I started reading about COVID. It was happening somewhere else.
yeah,
It was happening somewhere else before, and then bam, it was here.
Yeah, it all started in India with the Delta variant, right? It all started there and then got real bad over there, and somehow, you know, kind of made its way over here and slowly been spreading. I think the Delta variant, kids are more susceptible to it, I believe. Or that's one of
That was going to be the next thing, right?
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that we talked about, was like the origin of this thing,
What else is, yeah.
where it came from, and what was circulating at that time. But
And I'll be honest, I'm just as confused and in the dark about like
we
its
all
origin
are. Yeah.
as I was then. You know, I mean, because we are just maybe 1 year removed. We probably might have to wait until we're like in our 50s to find out, like, here's the real story of COVID.
But yeah, for real. But it became more acceptable that probably came from a
A
fucking
lab,
lab.
yeah.
For real.
Well, I mean, now you have, like you said, our own government, from a presidential standpoint, is wanting to open up an investigation as to whether or not it did come from a lab and everything along those lines. So, I mean, I think even then the general consensus was there were too many coincidences regarding where Wuhan was, the lab was,
That's
where
what-
it emanated and originated from. There's just too many things in coincidence. So I think the general consensus then, but just now coming out now, that everybody's suspicions were correct, that it's more than likely originated out of a lab in Wuhan.
I mean, Trump was saying that shit from the start, dude. You know, he was saying like it's a China virus, bro. This is where it came from.
It's
Yeah.
it's
Like,
true.
it
I
came
mean,
from out there. You know what I mean? And then, like,
For
I mean, I
sure.
know he's not the president no more, but like he was just spitting that like from the beginning. Like he didn't even care about. He didn't even wait for the report, bro. Like he was
No.
just blam.
Well, even I mean, like you said, even regardless of what people their views on Donald Trump, really and truly, I think the general consensus for most people that it originated from a lab versus a wet market. There were theories out there, like I'd mentioned before, where maybe an animal from that lab that had been tested on was sold to that wet market, and maybe it could have gone from there. But either way, it's all conflated. So
I think are they barely like looking into like an investigation into
Yeah.
like this thing
a year from now, huh?
a year from now,
But yeah, man, they should be.
launching an official investigation into like
what do they say? What's the difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth? About 6 to 12 months.
For real. And yeah, no, and like I said, it became fucking political. It definitely became political. That is definitely true. That we saw it all played out during the election, and
well, yeah, because he was talking about like vaccines. I wanted to get the well, at least Biden's the president now. Like, I don't know. I can't remember if like we had already had a new president by July 2020, right? Or did we?
No, I can't remember.
It was
to
in
be honest, but
November 2020
Yeah,
that we
yeah.
had the elections. Sorry.
Right.
No, wait,
They were
was it
still
November?
Trump was still the president, and I think they were still. I don't know if Biden was for sure. I think it was down to Biden and maybe a few other people at that point, but I don't think it was just down to Biden.
I can't believe how fast I stopped giving a fuck about the fucking president and what the
Oh.
fuck was going on until after fucking Trump was gone, dude. And I'm pretty sure that's true for that was one of the things that majorly changed from back then in 2020 to 2021 now was that I was less concerned with like what was being said in the news politically about the president.
now everything's just being secretly done. You don't even know what the fuck's going on.
Exactly.
That's what's kind of scary too, man. I'm not even saying what. I'm kind of. I don't know, man. You have to
Because
have
and then
dog-
all of a sudden like on online on maybe Facebook and shit, you stopped having like these fucking political experts, these homemade fucking political experts that like had like everything to say about like Biden and Trump. That all of a sudden like now they don't have like a lot of like their firepower's gone.
Yeah.
Trump's out of office. Like what are they gonna complain about someone?
And that was crazy too, man. Like, cause this got blamed on that dude.
Well,
And that's kind of crazy. How can you blame the whole fucking virus on just one motherfucker?
Well, no,
Unless-
they didn't blame the virus. They blamed the fucking response and the rise in cases on that. But because
Well,
they
yeah.
fucking said that fucker knew,
I thought
bro.
they kinda
Well,
pretty much-
They said that
Well-
fucker knew how bad this shit was. That they all fucking knew how bad. And that fucking senator bitch too, out in fucking Florida that owns the fucking basketball team, that she was fucking talking bullshit about, selling, making fucking stock moves
Oh yeah, and that's the
and
thing,
fucking
too,
saying
man.
other bullshit in the fucking news
true.
that
How
this
much-
shit ain't fucking real, blah blah blah. But whatever, she's fucking buying like vaccines.
And a
or
lot of
whatever, I don't know.
motherfuckers profited off.
you
of
did
this
have
Yeah,
a lot of
bro.
that, but do you remember when people were calling Donald Trump like xenophobic or whatever because he was banning travel from like really concentrated places of COVID of people to America, right? With like he banned like
I think they
Chinese-
banned us first and shit. I think people banned Americans.
Well, either
first.
way, I mean, but then they called him, xenophobic and all this other stuff because of that.
No, they called him because before that shit, he was putting a stop on all Muslims entering the country. Before he was even fucking president, he was saying that shit.
Mm.
Well, dude, that fucker ended up getting it too. fucking Donald Trump.
Well, shit,
The fucking president got the he ended up fucking getting the fucking
And,
virus,
and
bro.
to thanks to fucking demon semen, he was fucking saved and shit.
yeah.
Whatever
dude.
deal he fucking. I mean, obviously, you can't have the fucking president die
Whatever
from
fuck he
COVID,
took.
bro.
Oh
Yeah.
no, that's a bad look.
No fucking way.
Dude, the juice they gave him, I mean, he was vibrating on another frequency when he was talking about, I just got the shot and I feel 100%, you know?
Yeah,
He's like,
fucking shit.
what was it called? Resveratrol or whatever the fuck they gave him. They pumped him up with some shit, Jack.
For real. And since
And then there was an outbreak at the whole fucking White House and shit.
oh
Yeah.
shit,
A bunch of motherfuckers saying this shit ain't real, dude. Okay, there's people running for fucking office, bro,
Bunch
that
of-
said that shit wasn't real and then died from fucking COVID.
bunch of cochinos, bro. They didn't fucking wash their hands. They're going around rubbing shit around the White House.
Yeah, it's
Well,
just
do you
checking
remember?
everybody.
Remember when there was a big thing about how there was it was rules for thee, but not for me. When you had all these people, I mean, it happened all over. There was governors and Congress people of all kinds inciting these rules, but then they would get caught.
yeah, they'd be
not
going
wearing
to get
them.
their fucking hair done
They'd
and
be
shit.
getting their hair done. They wouldn't be wearing a mask at this place, or they'd get caught like not wearing a mask during like before the interview and right before the cameras come on. They're all wearing masks or whatever, and they talk about how you shouldn't be traveling, but then again, that following weekend, them and their family are on a flight to Cancun, like all
Oh
this
shit,
crazy
bro.
stuff.
Think about fucking going to Cancun. I know this is jumping like way ahead into fucking like 2020, like already now. But like,
Yeah.
you remember when the fucking freeze happened in like fucking
February.
February?
Yeah.
Fucking Ted Cruz, he was like, "All right, guys, sorry, my bad. I was just dropping my kids. That's all I
Yeah.
was doing. No, I wasn't leaving.
He was like,
I was just dropping I was just dropping them off. Fuck.
Just-
I'm like, when the fuck did you get a pilot's license, bitch?
I know.
When the fuck you get a fucking like fly
real.
the shit?
That full dip to Cancun
Fucking-
real fast.
Fucking dick, bro. And then he's back the next day on camera delivering fucking
Yeah.
bottles of water and
Yeah,
shit.
the whole power grid is failing, and him and his family dipped out to go hang out on the beach, and everyone got pissed.
I bet you that
Bless-
fucker's house didn't fucking lose power and shit. I bet you fucking Joel Olstein's fucking house didn't lose no fucking power and shit. He
Bless-
probably fucking has his own fucking grid
I mean,
and shit.
bless-
Generators and stuff.
yeah, bless their cold hearts.
I mean, he probably runs off God power and shit. Right?
Yeah, that spiritual juice. That
Jesus is
demon
fucking
semen.
there just powering his fucking home and shit.
Yeah, on a bike.
He runs off of faith and shit.
Yeah.
No, guys, this isn't money, bro. We don't pay for gas.
We just believe in it.
Adios mio. Hey, and since this all happened, we had whistleblowers come out talking about the origins of the virus. You got the CDC, the World Health Organization, and the elf on the shelf, Dr. Fauci, contradicting themselves. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask, or vice versa. I don't know what the fuck. And you got Dr. Fauci's emails that leaked, and I don't even know what to make of that shit too, man. But they're really pushing this vaccination. That's like the fastest vaccine that was probably ever made in history. And look at Johnson & Johnson, bro. Like a week ago, the FDA was saying that I guess the vaccine was the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is leading to like nerve damage. I forgot the name of it, what it's called, but it's crazy, man. I don't know.
Do you remember when they were talking about like 14 days to flatten the curve?
14 days.
Oh
Well,
I mean, that was
And
even
it was all about like just not overrunning the infrastructure and everything like this. And then we found out ventilators were counterintuitive and were actually killing people, and it really only affected older people and people with comorbidities, multiple comorbidities, diabetes, overweight, cancer, things like this.
I think I started to hear more like people my age dying, dude. I started hearing more stories about that shit, dude. Like coworkers of mine having family members that were like my fucking, my uncle, my brother, my cousin, and shit like that, like fucking dying from fucking COVID and shit.
Yeah.
And it was like not that it was like a myth that like, young people couldn't get it and die, but it wasn't just like the elderly and all that, like that we were like expecting. I think there was just too much. I think that there still is too much fucking misinformation about this shit, because I feel just as confused about.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I think-
I spoke too soon on that episode that we did, on certain things, and we now know since then, like, you got COVID.
I
You had
fucking got COVID.
I think I got COVID like 2 times. I don't know.
I
was sick.
got COVID and I got fucking vaccinated since then.
Yeah, I just got the first shot, and I got sick from that shit, man. I was like, fuck that. I'm good. How about you, Mr. Williams? What's up?
Yet to contract the virus.
I have yet to. I have not had COVID, and I have not been vaccinated. So
here, there's a
He's
scale.
free.
We
He
got
is
one
free.
that's
Exactly.
non-vaccinated. I only went halfway, and you're fully vaccinated.
I'm fully
so we're like the guinea pigs of society right now. So
I'm all
catch-
about. No, not except for Mr. Williams.
No, it can go all ways.
He's just
man.
gonna sit back and watch us for a few years.
No, I don't know. Who knows, man? From a year from now, we'll do Time Capsule Part 2 on this episode.
Yeah, for real.
who's mutated for the
Yeah,
vaccine?
for real.
We're gonna be like, okay, guys, we're back on Omegatron, Moon Base 3. Year to the years 2022. What the fuck? What year, bitch?
All right.
We're on fucking bullet trains and shit.
That'd be sick.
And all right, let's get on to this next topic. George Floyd, man, R.I.P. And what happened to him too was fucked up, bro. There was a national outcry, and people spoke, man. 1 year later, prior to his death, the officer that was involved, Derek Chauvin, he was found guilty and sentenced to prison for 22 and a half years.
Second degree murder.
Second degree murder, I believe.
Yeah.
So, thoughts on that? Anybody?
They gave him 22 and a half years. I think I can't remember what they're doing with the other guys that were involved. There's like 4 other guys that were involved with it. I can't remember exactly what's supposed to happen with them. But, you know, that is, to be honest with you, the George Floyd thing when it happened was not only such a national headline, but it was also something, I mean, globally. I think a lot of people globally were talking about it. And, you know, it's not to say that people had forgotten about it, but in my opinion, there wasn't as much publicity on the Derek Chauvin case. Like, I would just kind of randomly, inadvertently hear about it or something. I necessarily wouldn't be looking, you know, to watch the trial or hear anything about that, which I find to be very, very interesting. I don't know if that's an attributing factor to the attention span we have or the 24-hour news cycle or things like this, because there was a long period of time before all that happened. But I mean, the George Floyd thing was huge.
I mean,
huge.
It was, and like I mean, obviously with first the indictment, first they arrested him, then you know all that other stuff, then they actually like locked him up, but they had like all these kind of like strange like rules for him, you know what I mean? Like none of the black guards could like handle him. He had to be on his own floor or something like that. And
I believe
it was like, you know, before the trial or whatever. Yeah. So it was almost like this kind of like you know, special preferential treatment that he was getting. That was like, you know, part of the new like headline and that I remember hearing about. And a lot of people were like happy with the verdict, but thought he should have got like, you know, murder 1 or like, you know, some kind of fucking like longer life sentence or something like that. But I'm like, what? I mean, this fool's how old? I mean, 22. That's a fucking life sentence, bro. That's a fucking life sentence. But unless he gets fucking parole and shit. I mean, Bill Cosby's out. Bill fucking Cosby's out of fucking jail. You don't think Derek Chauvin is gonna fucking like just scoot by and shit? Fucking, hey man, I've been behaving good. I haven't killed no. I haven't stepped on nobody's neck in the fucking since I've been here. Y'all let me out.
Some shit, man.
I was a cop. I was a cop for how long?
Well, the Cosby thing was on a technicality, I think, for something about statute of limitations. But he definitely got out on a technicality. But
I'm saying like legal,
right.
You know,
but
ways of
Derek Chauvin
expediting a sentence.
Correct. What I'm saying is Derek Chauvin got sentenced to 22 and a half years without parole.
Oh, without parole.
Here's the other thing too, that Derek Chauvin is only like 42 years old. So 22 and a half years would be around 65 years old when he gets out. So he still has a decent life ahead of him, you know, depending on what kind of physical shape he comes out of, you know, in jail.
That's
and
so
everything
true.
like that.
And I've had friends,
or how loose his ass is gonna be, man.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's going to get a lot of that preferential treatment or whatever throughout his, because, you know, the other thing too, and listen, I'm not advocating or whatever. I'm just strictly speaking from a zoomed out point of view here. I understand, you know, he took a life, you know, everything like that. I'm not trying to undermine anything, but I think it's also the jailer's responsibility to somehow regardless of whatever, to try to keep him safe to whatever degree. I understand, they're not going to put him on, like you said, a floor of like a bunch of African Americans or like in a really bad area. They're going to do the same thing with a little different Amber Geiger, where she shot that gentleman in Dallas, and then she's in an all women's like correctional facility, and it's like from a security standpoint.
They didn't even fucking arrest that bitch the same day, bro.
No,
she was able to go home, get her story straight, talk to her fucking commanding officers,
play with their coochie.
Probably fucking play with her coochie a bunch of fucking times in private before she had to fucking get fucking processed and shit.
Yeah,
I think they renamed like the street after one of the streets after that.
Botham John,
Botham John, man. I mean, bro, damn.
That was gnarly.
That's preferential treatment. That's some preferential
but he'll
treatment
probably
for
get
your
that.
ass,
He'll probably
bro.
get that preferential treatment throughout his duration in prison, just for safety and all those other things. But listen, whenever he gets out, he's gonna be fucked. I mean, everyone knows who Derek Chauvin is. Him trying to get a job with that on his record, it's gonna be impossible. Like, it's literally gonna be impossible.
Yeah.
It's the same. To be honest with you, it's gonna sound crazy. I know this is gonna sound crazy. Who knows? But he might have a better stay in prison than he will outside of
exactly
prison.
That's what a lot of motherfuckers do, bro. They just go back to
get
prison.
caught up in that system.
They just go back to prison. They don't like that. I mean, that's what that movie American Me was like.
Well, you get to
you ever see that shit?
Yeah.
Well, that fucker couldn't even hang on the outside, bro.
Well, a lot of people
don't look at me, little puppet.
A lot of people get assimilated into the prison culture, and then when they get released after 10, 15, 20 years, they're so used to the prison culture they can't re-assimilate back into society, and that's where you get the records of recidivism, where people just go back and, a lot of people will intentionally commit crime to get back into jail because that's the only thing they know, or they'll go back to stealing because that's the only thing they know how to provide for themselves.
Because they can't get no fucking jobs.
Yeah, well, and also just there's not a lot of, there are, but there isn't enough adequate help for convict rehabilitation and things like that.
This is karma, man. It's karma at its finest. That's what happens to a lot of fucking the young kids out there getting caught up.
A generation of like our generation, a whole generation of fucking men having to be raised by women because either the daddies went off to fucking war or got caught up and fucking put in jail.
But yeah, so what all that fuckery that was going on at the time,
or they just fucking just straight
with the protesting, the riots and all that shit too, man. You had agents of provocateurs running amok, not giving a fuck, destroying businesses, and people getting shot, man, killed. You got kids thinking they're fucking playing Fortnite out on the streets and shit, and I get it, man. I'm a product of NWA, man. You know what? I grew up. Fuck the police. I know what's up, but. Because I know what's up, man. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and you got these. I don't know, man. Things just need to be checked. But we can't like defund the police. Reforming the police, I'm all about that shit. But that shit has to trickle the fuck up, dude. Like all the way the fuck up the system. And I think so. I think even the military probably has to be reformed in some ways. Because look what happened with Vanessa and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, there's a lot that
people
goes on.
People need to be fucking checked, bro.
That goes back to kind of, I think, what I said in the first episode was about how they lowered their requirements to be a police officer to pay these people cheap. And it definitely needs to be reformed for sure in that sense.
My conspiracy theory is, and like I think I said in the first episode, is that like the police are a gang and those recruiting processes are hire motherfuckers that will just bow down. You know what I mean? We don't need a bunch of fucking critically thinking fucking off. I mean, I know I don't like to see like paint the whole like institution with like this flat brush of corruption and shit, because that's not fair. That's not fair to nobody and shit. But what I'm saying is, like, if you are, let's just say people believe that like the police are a gang or that they're like this kind of corrupt institution, they would recruit in the way that you're describing. They lowered their standards. They don't need critical thinkers. They don't need fucking motherfuckers causing no trouble. Like, hey, you guys put that fucking shit back. Bitch, fucking, now I'm gonna have to suicide you.
Yeah. For real.
You know what I mean? And I think it's fallen into that, dude. Like, you know, but I mean, obviously, I don't know. I'm not no fucking cop. If anything, I have the least amount of interaction with cops as possible.
Yeah.
But
So
also,
I have like no fucking like inside information.
But also, I mean, it's, you know, when you talk about defunding the police, you know, all that's going to happen is you're going to get privatized security. So people in the middle class and under aren't going to be able to afford their own security, and you're going to have the upper class, you know, like gated communities. Think about it in this sense, where gated communities already have their own individual, separate, third party, you know, security force that drives through and all this other stuff. You know, you're going to have that, but to a larger degree, where there's going to be people with guns and things like this, and other people are going to have to fend for themselves.
Right? And there won't be any
know.
police to fucking like keep the order and shit like that.
In my
If
opinion,
anything, they should need, like I said, dude, they need to be paying these motherfuckers more, attracting the more fucking like, you know, higher like standard officer. You know what I mean?
well, it all comes down to
RoboCops?
funding, how much they can pay the
Or make
officers.
a fucking RoboCop.
That shit's
Fucking
coming.
RoboCop,
Oh,
bro.
That shit's fucking coming.
You're gonna
bro.
eat those words, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking
man.
RoboCop, bro.
Like the fucking RoboCop's gonna curb stomp you. That's how you're gonna eat those
Fuck
words.
that.
I know, right?
The idea is sexy as fuck, but not in reality.
If they legalize weed, what I gotta worry about? I ain't gonna be fucking trying to slang no fucking rock or fucking cocaine and shit, dude. Like he's gonna catch me fucking smoking a J.
Got a
Hey,
pocket full of
RoboCop, what's up?
stones.
Fuck that. And the other thing too is like the military-industrial complex. It's honestly my belief. That I think most people would enter in the military. Some will enter for selfish reasons, benefits, things like this. But I think other people enter in with a warm heart, trying to change lives and save lives, and
Serve their
country and do that. But unfortunately, the military-industrial complex can be, it is pretty corrupt. I don't know. I think they might start wars to, get people, military, defense contractors to bid on these, billion-dollar contracts to. I mean, war. They get so much money off of war. It's great. It's crazy.
I mean, think about how long we've been at war. I mean, we're barely about to start pulling them motherfuckers out.
Allegedly, Biden said they're going to pull out. Allegedly, Biden said they're going to pull out everybody in like August.
Even Trump said that shit, though.
Yeah.
They all say that shit.
Yeah.
Obama said that shit.
Yeah, man. It's the same old song and dance with those fucks. And speaking about the military, man, rest in peace, Vanessa Guillen, man.
Vanessa Guillen, dude. Poor
Yeah,
girl,
they found. Yeah, poor girl. They found some new information about it. There was something about a general or a sergeant, some corporal, upper echelon guy of that base, maybe the leader dude or whatever. Something about, I don't know, him and his girlfriend called him in or something. You know more about it than I do.
Well, no. Well, I just know that like, at least
There were some other people
there's
found
some
too, man.
the thing that like obsesses me is like they only list like as 14 senior officers had been disciplined for it. These fools opened an independent like investigation for it like that. It took a while. Like they had to get some fucking bill or something like that, passed or voted on or whatever. Then they had to go meet Trump, and Trump has to let them know like, hey, we have confidence in this investigation. We want to find out. And so far, like that's all they say. Like I mean, like on the official like Wikipedia is like, okay, 14 senior officers had been like disciplined, but I mean, cases like this were even after Vanessa Guillen were popping up.
I think
But dudes,
before too. Yeah, it's
people that were
crazy.
reporting kind of like the same shit, like either harassment or some kind of like sexual, like kind of like
Some people went missing.
abuse or
Yeah,
or
man.
some and they just were like, gone.
And I'm telling you, man, that shit needs to be checked. And in breaking news, what do we call it? Cecily, whatever the fuck her name is, Ann Aguilar has been indicted on 11 counts related to the death of Army Specialist Vanessa Guillen. And that's that chick, man. That's the girlfriend of the guy that fucking, I guess, killed her, bro. This explains. Yeah, man, this explains. I don't know. This explains her, but what about the others, man? You know what I mean? Like, there has to be some shit going on, bro. I think there's like more to it. Probably sex trafficking is involved. And you think about it, man. You got the highest level of authority, the elite, whatever you want to fucking call them, the powers that be, that probably have control over this shit, man. It doesn't get any coverage. Who knows if there's a serious investigation even going on? You have the same thing going on in the entertainment industry, bro, in politics, on any high level of government, bro. Look how far it goes, bro. Look what this bitch, Ghislaine Maxwell. Look what's going on right now. You don't even hear a fucking word, bro. A peep. I was definitely wrong about that shit, you know? You got people, like, powerful people that are just, man, taking advantage of people and using them in fucked up ways, man.
It's like she's just like falling off the map. You know what I mean? Like this thing was
Comes
like
and goes.
this was like so, you know, the whole fucking save the children thing. Like I get it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we all need like our hashtags to be like hard on and shit. But like, I mean, like, what are they? I mean, I know like we can't be moving at the speed of light on this shit. But I mean, I would just feel like
this should be on the fucking main thing. Everybody.
That's what I was saying. Like, I mean, like,
so real quick. Ghislaine Maxwell, Gasoline Maxwell was the boyfriend / confidant to Jeffrey Epstein, the man who potentially ran the largest underage sex trafficking ring in human history, right? Then you have another guy named Pat McAfee, who isn't a good guy by any fucking means, but did a lot of tax evasion, right? He flew over Belarus. Belarus there said there was a problem with the plane. Bring it down. They ripped the motherfucker off, and that was the whole intention. And then he went and spent time in jail because they were going to extradite him back to the U.S., probably because they have some sort of alliance or, you know, benefits or whatever. The point I'm making here is you don't have any records of Ghislaine being in jail, no photos, no nothing of what the status of it is, anything like that, right? But then they got this McAfee dude who suicided himself, allegedly, over, you know, tax evasion. He has a shitty fucking past, very checkered and stuff, but the main reason they're trying to get him is because of tax evasion, because, you know, he publicly said, I'm not going to, you know, pay taxes. But then again, you have Gasoline Maxwell, who, again, was the boyfriend / confidant to Jeffrey Epstein, who potentially ran the largest underage sex trafficking ring in human history, and we haven't heard anything about that's going on. So
in a way, like, as I think you were talking, like, I was kind of like thinking, like, man, like, they probably don't want anybody to know where this bitch is. Yeah, they probably don't want, like, you know, they want, as whack as that shit is, you know, as much as like I would like to like know what's up, like, they know motherfuckers are trying to kill this bitch. There should be one of those
trials that should be all over the fucking news.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how they treated OJ, how they treated fucking
Cosby,
any of these. What's that bitches? You name it, man.
Well, that should give you an idea of like the blackmail and just all the crazy shit that goes on. Because, you know, remember the general consensus was remember Jeffrey Epstein's little black book of all the people he had that flew on the Lolita Express and went to the island and yada yada yada, and all this dirt and whatnot on all these people, and that could be another alleged reason why they're keeping it so quiet, versus things like OJ and other cases that were so publicly illuminated that were everywhere on every news channel and everything like this. And these new things that could potentially harm, you know, other people are kind of just not swept under the rug, but definitely kept real quiet, you know, are you know, done through closed doors, so to speak.
Yeah. It's fucked up, man. There's a lot of shit going on behind closed doors.
I would just like to hear at some point being like, okay, cool, here's what we've been doing. We've brought down, like, you know, Ghislaine. She's, you know, I mean, like, you know, use her to like choke down the ring and like, oh, here's all these kids we fucking saved. You know what I mean?
I think she was like higher than Jeffrey Epstein.
But like
I think she was probably his boss. You know
Ooh, what I mean? Remember that chick from Smallville that was running that cult?
Nexium? Yeah, there's a lot of crazy shit, man. There's a lot of shit like that out there.
No, I've never.
Something like that.
What's her name?
And she got busted for running that sex cult.
Allison Mack or some shit like that.
For running that sex cult, and all over the news, everything like this. I mean, that's a little tiny sex cult. And think of the Jeffrey Epstein thing, dude.
It's global.
You know,
it's on a bigger scale, dude, man.
Jeffrey, I mean, you gotta understand. You know, I don't want to rehash, but I mean, not to point out anybody in particular, but just as a broad example that we all know. I mean, Clinton flew on the plane 26 times. There was a painting of Clinton in a dress, draped over a chair, like just all this weird shit about it, right? You have the Prince Charles or whatever. I'm not sure if that's him. But the guy that allegedly flew there, and he's like, I don't sweat. I don't sweat. I had a medical condition. He's like, I don't sweat. I had a medical condition from the war, from PTSD. I don't sweat. And, you know, everything like that. So it's so weird, dude.
It is fucking weird. There's
So
a bunch
many
of
people that
fucking
could be
weirdos
involved
out
in
there
it,
too.
dude. I mean,
Yeah.
The lengths that people are willing to go, bro.
And I still fucking stand on my fucking theory about everything that's probably going on. Maybe has to be involved with this shit too going on. There's some powerful people at play, and they used all that shit, like I said in the first episode, as a smokescreen. Maybe not to that extent. Maybe I went too extreme, but you know what I mean. A lot of this shit you see in the media, all that shit's being run and organized by people who are controlling those fucking media outlets and shit. So, little thing to think about: who is the man behind the curtain?
I think it's several people. I think it's, you know, several hands, several people, and who,
I think it is like a bunch of like,
you know,
Or female
money
shit.
changing hands
Yeah.
kind of thing. You know what I mean?
and somebody brought up a good point. You
One
know,
hand
it's,
washes the other.
whoever it is, it's not people in the public spotlight. It's not the Bezoses or the Gates or the Clintons or anything like that. I firmly believe that it's people we've never even heard of, you know, descendant families, things like this. I mean, who knows? I could be wrong, but I don't really think it's going to be people that are going to be out in the open like that. You know, they might have notoriety, but not to the, you know, how much they're on the media or anything like that. So.
Yeah, like, I mean, people throw names around like Soros and Coke and you know,
Rothschild.
yeah,
and everything
Rothschild and all those, you know,
And you have
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos flying to the
Jeff
moon.
Bezos, yeah, you know,
And the Virgin, Richard Branson.
people like that. So it's like, you know, who do we really like talk about? Who do we like look at? in terms of
ET,
that?
man, we got a phone home. We gotta call these aliens, bro. Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, they've the Navy and everything. There's been a huge surge in not only UFO activity, but they've also come out with more documents regarding
More documents
you know, UFOs and classified reports
It's
regarding
on the news.
you know, the Navy and the Air Force encountering these. What do they call them now? They call them something different, UAEs or some shit.
Oh yeah.
UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Yeah,
Phenomenon.
UAP. That's
Yeah.
right.
which I think UFO is more dope, but
Yeah,
I'm just
UFO
old
sounds
school
dope.
like that, I guess. I don't know, but they came out with a bunch of that stuff.
I mean, either this is like a government technology or vehicle that like is so far advanced, you know,
Mhm.
which I don't know that it's that hard to believe, you know, that like we have, you know, the technology and the people to do it.
mhm.
But I mean, it might as well be aliens, bro, because we don't understand it.
I heard my two.
We
theories,
can't see it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
my two theories is that we are on the precipice of Project Bluebeam.
Oh, they're like
Potentially.
warming them up. They're warming us up.
You know, you got to start them slow. You can't dunk somebody into the ice bath immediately. You'll shock them to death. You got to ease them into it. You know, ease them into it. Oh, dude, it's like that. It's that
Little-
analogy. Think
it's a
of it
little
like the
foreplay.
frog. Think of it like the frog in the boiling water. The frog doesn't notice the water getting hotter and hotter. He's just like, I'm chilling until he's dead. But if you put a frog in boiling water, he's gonna notice it. You know, it's a slow build. It's a slow build to it.
Damn,
Yeah,
I
look-
never thought about that.
have a little
Shit's
foreplay.
hardcore.
Little
You know?
foreplay, man.
You're easier to kind of.
They got to get us wet first, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And then
gotta ease
the
it way
fucking.
in.
But then they'll fuck us.
Raw
Yeah.
dog.
And who knows,
Fucking
man?
assholes.
Who knows? I mean, there's so many sexy theories when it comes to aliens. You know, maybe they're.
What if they're cool?
Well, I mean, well, who knows if they're just coming back? It could be different. You know, it could be different aliens coming from different planets that aren't even associated with each other, coming here on vacation to, you know, take a look at us.
It's just like Cancun, or it's like Cancun and shit.
Come take a look, like we're the zoo or the museum or something like that, or they could use us as an example of, you know, this is what our species was similar to, you know,
It's like that-
thousands of years ago or something.
It's like that
For real.
episode of South Park where they're like, okay, guys, Earth's been canceled. Like, the boys find out that they're, because, you know, Cartman has like this huge antenna. It's like fucking launching out of his ass. And they're like, what the heck is that? And they find out that like their whole lives, Earth is just a fucking TV show. They're like, all the species, giraffes, turtles, people, black people, Asians, all usually on their own same planet, all in the same one every day, tidal waves, and they're like fucking like it's like a fucking show. But then like they run into their final episode, they're like, oh, sorry guys, we had a great run, 2.5 million years, whatever.
Yeah.
We gotta destroy Earth.
I mean, that makes sense, you know?
Damn, imagine. Okay, because it's like America, dude. Like, there's never been a place, at least to my knowledge, that where there's so many integrated like cultures in one country, living under one like flag and like kind of like type of government. You know what I mean? Side by side, fucking like.
Hey, dude, yeah, man. Sorry to cut you off, bro, but that reminds me, bro, of that Ronald Reagan speech.
In our obsession with antagonisms of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us? What could be more alien to the universal aspirations of our peoples than war and the threat of war?
So just think about that, man. He kind of made it sound like they're a threat, and who knows, bro? If they're visiting us, who knows if they want to come in peace, you know, take me to your dealer kind of shit, or they're gonna come and invade. You know what I mean? Fuck shit up.
I imagine they just show up and they're like, okay, guys, we're gonna fix everything. You just have to bow down. You have to fucking insert this little fucking thing into your brain, and we're gonna fucking take care of you. That's it. We're gonna fucking end world hunger. We're gonna fucking give you renewable energy. We're gonna give you fucking warp technology. You just have to fucking bow down to our empire, our galactic empire.
Who knows? I mean, there could have been a meeting like that a long time ago. Because we easily, you know, could have. I don't know if you've heard of like black sigil magic, where they show things and they like, for instance, this is going to be a shitty analogy, but like the movie Men in Black, like that could be a real thing.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
where they're letting you know without really letting you know, like that stuff actually happens. So
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah,
so
Hollywood does that all the time.
So if something bad happens, you know, there's no negative karma blowback on them. It's like, hey, we kind of told them, we let them know, you know, without actually directly letting them know. It's like symbolism and things like this.
Subliminal.
Yeah, there's definitely. I mean, we've gotten alien technology from crashes, and I don't know. You know, there's a theory out. There's a theory out there where Reagan signed some article with the aliens that said they could only steal people at a national forest or something in exchange for some sort of technology or something.
That shit's crazy, man. To think back,
I've never heard of that shit. I've never heard of no fucking Reagan bill. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know,
like treaty shit.
It might be Reagan. I'm not sure. It's one of the presidents.
last
Like
year,
FDR
bro,
or something like. No, I'm just playing.
last year was a fucking crazy year, bro. It was really fucking crazy. 2020 was that fucking year, and
Do it
to
down.
think the government admitted fucking UFO existence or aliens, whatever the fuck. When did you think that was gonna ever fucking happen, bro?
Well, they kept it open. They said there is evidence of basically, unidentified aerial objects. We don't know who they are, what they are, where they're from,
What
how
they're
they got here,
capable of.
what they're capable of. We have just publicly verified that we know the existence of unworldly aerial crafts that, aren't of this, world. So yeah, basically aliens. I mean, and everyone's just like, all right, cool. You know?
Everybody's like not even tripping because of movies like Men in Black.
Yeah.
And fucking movies like fucking E.T. and
Remember,
Contact and all this shit like that.
What was it? Project
Blue Beam? Or
No. Project what was that movie that came out where they had the alien base and all the aliens and that one guy, they test on the aliens, oh my gosh.
Is it Project something?
Maybe not. Project 13 or something?
Project X.
Project 8, Island 8 or
Well,
something?
Project X was like a movie with about like kids throwing a party, and then they had another like Matthew Broderick movie. It was about like government, like experimenting on monkeys. I mean, chimps.
District 9.
District 9. There you go.
9. So that's
District 9.
another example.
That's another. Where they just kind of like show up and they can't go nowhere.
Right.
And kind of assimilate.
Yeah, and they got all these aliens
Cone
segregated and
heads,
everything.
fucking cone heads and shit. They are among us.
Who knows? Who knows? You know, it's crazy. I'm interested to see where things will go. Currently, as it stands, we have the Delta variant to be somewhat concerned of. I forgot how much percentage of the population is currently vaccinated.
Roughly
I think
48% of the population.
Okay, so of United States.
United States.
Yeah. Okay, so 48% of the United States is vaccinated. You know, well under what they wanted to be. There's still a lot of people that are hesitant, myself included. You know, they're gonna wait and see how things go. But life's getting back to normal around here. I don't know. You know, other states are slowly lifting things. We're basically wide the fuck open here in Texas. There's
Texas
nothing,
doesn't even give a fuck, bro.
Yeah, no, Texas doesn't care. I mean, Texas also I think one of the states with the lowest vaccination percentages, I believe.
We're thriving.
Yeah, but we're business is open here. You know, we're doing good. The Delta variant's scaring some people, but you know, I'm interested to see how things are going to play out. I think things are slowly turning back to normal, and I'm really excited to just get back to fucking normal, man.
Absolutely. I've been kind of feeling the same way. I know, like during COVID, as I had COVID, like the whole thing really shook me. And then I feel like as soon as I like got vaccinated or was getting close to it, like I noticed like the mask mandates had been lifted by the governor, and I was almost like started people like didn't care it, and like I became more lazy about just having my mask in my pocket, like carrying it around with me, and then I just stopped altogether. And then I got vaccinated, and now I feel like I'm all good. But I mean the news of other variants in other countries does kind of like not worry me. I mean so much, because like I had COVID, and then I feel like I had my vaccine, so I feel like if there was something else I could like handle it. But like gives me those feels that like I had pre-COVID, that like I was seeing it happen somewhere else, and now it's probably just a matter of time before there's some more variants here, and we're having to do another fucking like lockdown or some shit like that.
Yeah, man. Fuck all that. Just stay safe, man, and
right? I mean, we should end it on a light low. I mean, like
Yeah.
it's just been good, bro. I mean, everything
it's
seems
been
to
a
be
good
turning
year,
up,
man.
right?
And you know, to think this whole thing, this podcast, and came out of this fucking pandemic, man. It came out of boredom and
Right?
and
And
just, you know,
overall, like self-expression, dude. Like that's something that like people like needed around that time. That
For
like
real.
they found like in isolation.
yeah, especially me, man. Like it helped me out a lot, and you know, there's just a lot of unexplained mysteries out in the world, man. And I think we should talk about it, even if it's just a fucking silly, funny conversation like we have. But we appreciate y'all listening. Thank y'all.
Peace.
Adios, muchachos.